So that brings us to the blueprint. Finally, right? I was waiting for you to get to this. The blueprint. One word before we talk about your blueprint. If you do not tell the truth about yourself, you cannot tell it about other people. Now, literary scholars and people that have read Virginia Woolf will probably say, well, that's simple. If you lie about yourself, you're going to lie about other people, and it's just a matter of integrity. But I think in marketing, this has a much deeper implication. It is much more far-reaching. I think that what it means is if you can't begin with your reason for being as a hotel, with who you really are, how are you ever going to be able to identify and reach your best emotionally connected guest? We're the most family-oriented hotel. Well, we're the most technological hotel. Well, we're an entertainment hotel. Well, we're the best type of spa hotel. And I've seen hotels that are like, well, we're everything. We're all of it. We have all of it to offer. Every hotel in this room has something that is special and unique about them. That is your core reason for being. Begin there. And it doesn't mean that we as your sales and marketing organization aren't going to sell to every stakeholder in the market. Of course we are. There's tactics designed for that, and we'll get to that in a moment. But you need to start with why in order to actually reach your best emotionally connected guest. And here's how we do it. And you notice that on one side of this spectrum, in this process that we call reverse thinking, there's a traditional side, right? A lot of times we begin with products and services, and then we market those products and services, right? And there's a management of those products and services. And then on the other end, it's not even on the chart, we would talk about the tactical approach to it, and who will we market it to, and is it going to be consortia agents, and it's going to be which consortias, and how much is our spend going to be? Because that's on the marketing side, right? But why starts much, much deeper. It starts with your desired guest experience. When you go to forge your blueprint, you're going to be crafting your desired guest experience. And then you're going to discover what optimal staff behavior has to exist naturally in your hotels in order to support, naturally, that desired guest experience. And then going even deeper, what type of culture or environmental values there, just the natural organic culture of your hotel, has to exist, has to live in order for optimal staff behavior to then support that desired guest experience. And of course, the most important thing, what kind of leadership or guiding stewardship has to support the entire thing. And if it sounds like this is sales and marketing bleeding into operations, it absolutely is. Because at its core, this is marketing. I sat in the European Advisory Board with Jeff yesterday and heard how all the hoteliers said, this is where it lives, right? Because if a guest comes in and you have a why and you have a very distinct theme, but this entire stack of support for it isn't quite there, then you will fail to connect emotionally with that guest. So what does a blueprint look like? Well, courtesy Rebel Hospitality Group and Dana Hotel and Spa, thank you very much, Jean, Tony, Leanna, and the rest of you who are here. This is Dana Hotel and Spa's blueprint. And you see that Dana Hotels and Spas' desired guest experience is that every guest that walk in through their doors feel harmonious, pleasured, impassioned, and a sense of belonging. And to support that, they know that their optimal staff interaction has to be one of empathy, proactivity, passion, and engagement. But even deeper than that, there has to be a culture that supports things with a sense of genuine camaraderie, an empowerment that just lives on its own, and a positive energy that also has an inclusive, authentic flavor to it. But it begins with their leadership, right? The leadership must be supportive and nurturing for there to be a feel of genuine camaraderie, must be trusting for there to be empowerment, must be motivating, doing things on a daily basis that produce motivation, and must lead by example in very tangible, real set ways for there to be an authentic, inclusive feel. And all of this distilled down into one line, one concept that is not room nights, not what Dana Hotel and Spa is selling. They're not selling room nights. What Dana Hotel and Spa is selling and what they are giving to their guests is the pleasure of giving. And how they do it is that they treat guests the way they would want to be treated. That's their how. And of course, if you look at Dana Hotel and Spa, and many of you went to Dana in September of last year, and it is an amazing, upscale, modern property, and I think the best spa in the city in downtown Chicago. That's what they are, right? But it's not why they are. Dana Hotel and Spa is the pleasure of giving. And just like Nike would lead with just do it, Nike doesn't sell shoes or tennis rackets or football gear or any of that. What Nike sells is the motivation, whether you're an Olympic athlete or you just want to lose a little bit of weight. They say, hey, what we're selling you, what we're helping you to do is to just get out there and do it. We're here to encourage you and motivate you. That's what Nike sells. And by the way, we happen to sell shoes. So that's where it ends, right? Of course not. The blueprint is actually where it begins. Once you go through that workshop and complete that output, that experience blueprint, that's when your sales and marketing group goes to work. What we have done, and what we did in Nashville when we were there with Chris, is we went through all the different stakeholders that we sell to. Whether it's a leisure travel agent, or a corporate travel buyer, or the B2C transient customer. We went through, and through surveys, and through our own feedback that we've gathered over 45 years, we went through and defined their why, and then we crafted the type of tactical message or the usage of a hotel's why and how we would actually reach them. So in this experience, we see that this is maybe a tagline that we have for Abercrombie & Fitch's booking portal. We only have 45 characters to use. And so instead of using some nondescript characters that talk about square footage, we use the tagline, always giving. It exemplifies and leads with Dana Hotel and Spa's why. And on it goes. A corporate travel manager might be seeking to feel connected, assured, valued, and proud. And the way that we approach that in telling stories will be slightly different in the assets and tactical usages. And a corporate travel agent might want to feel rewarded, supported, confident, and inspired, and might have limitations, such as only using images. In every sense, approaching this with those stakeholders in mind. So here's a real example. Abercrombie & Fitch's booking portal, always giving. This is their corporate traveler booking portal. And in the PowerPoints that we craft, leading with why, and then using iconic imagery that evokes a hotel's why. In our groups and meetings assets, leading with the pleasure of giving and talking about it. In our booking abandonment recovery tool, the concept of giving and gifts. In our geofencing tool, run locally in that area, talking about gift giving and the concept of gifts. In our consortia banner ads that we are running for them, dare to experience the pleasure of giving in every step of the way, leading with their why. And this is just a subset of this. There are over 20 different assets that our marketing team works hard after the fact to produce and lead with your why so that we can connect with your best emotionally connected guest. Well, that's great. All of you are probably sitting there saying, that's great. But what did it get them? Well, here's what it got them. And this is from May 2015 to end of year, and this is year over year, 2014 to 2015. 6.5% growth in ADR, 2% growth in room nights, 7.5% growth in revenue. This is just through our channels, GDS, IB, IDS, Voice, again, year over year. The power of why is real. It's real. How do you engage with us? Now, I would hope that I don't get a single email through this email address behind me. I would hope that at this annual sales and marketing conference that all of you would sign up with Joanna at the workshop and actually begin the process and get your schedule going and sign up to begin that workshop where you start with why and you craft your blueprint. If you don't get a chance to, or for whatever reason, you can contact us, why@worldhotels.com, and we will respond to you within 24 hours, and we'll begin the process of scheduling that workshop for you. But the implications are far-reaching, even beyond all the things that we've talked about, even beyond the asset library that we will produce on your behalf, which again, as Jeff said, there's no cost to. We're going to have periodic RFPs, as Tom was talking about. The RFPs will continue Our content marketing efforts on your behalf will continue. This isn't just a set it and forget it type deal. Our new .com is live and only growing. 4,000 pages of content is only the beginning. And in order to do that, we need the experiential mortar to make the bricks. So please, when you consider signing up for the Start With Why program, understand that this is critical to us in marketing, especially. Last thing I want to say before closing out. About 16, 17 years ago, I was a young man, and I was living in Seattle, Washington. Anybody here ever lived in Seattle? No? Okay. Beautiful place, west coast of the United States, big music scene. And I, like many young men at the time, fancied that I would become a screenwriter. I was going to write scripts, and I was going to sell movies, and I was going to eventually move down to California. And one of my friends and I had kind of gotten into it. I'd written a bunch of scripts, and my friend Chris, he was already kind of in touch with the Hollywood crowd. And one day he came to me and he said, Alex, I've got this great cool contest that I want you to enter. The great actor Kevin Spacey was hosting a contest. He said, if you can write a log line about one of your scripts, and he likes it, you win the contest, and you get a chance to pitch the script to a big producer. A log line, by the way, is basically 2 sentences that summarizes 110 pages worth of script. Not as easy as it sounds. And so I said about this, I said, sure, okay, whatever. This wasn't my full-time job. I was working with Universal at the time. And I said about writing a log line. And to my great surprise, I won this contest. And so I found myself, before long, on this phone with this producer. I don't even know how he got my number. He just called me one day. And I'm sitting there talking with him. And I am just nervous. I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of rambling through it. And so I'm just talking to him about this story and what a great story it is, how compelling it is. And he was very kind to me, and he listened to my entire pitch, if that's what you would call it. And at the end of it, he said, yeah, that sounds good, Alex. It's good. It's just, I don't know. It seems like the same old that's out there. And so I said, okay. Now, those of you who know me know that I'm lying. I didn't say okay. Those of you who know me know that I tend to be a little bit confrontational when things like that happen. I said, wait a second. No, this is a great story. There's a twist at the end. The characters are complex. And I doubled down on everything. I was just hammering away at him now for another 10 minutes on the phone. And he was very kind to me. He listened to everything I had to say. But then he said something to me that I'll never forget, and I want you to remember this when you start with why, if you don't remember any other slide before it. He said to me this, Alex, it's a good story, but here's the thing. I think you're just telling us the story you think we want to hear. When you start with why, make sure you start with what makes your hotel you. We're here as your sales and marketing group to market it to those various stakeholders and to present you in a way that's going to sell. But start with you and start with what's true. Don't try to be every hotel to everybody. Because, in the end, there's always room for a story that can transport people to another place, especially if that place is your hotel room. Thank you very much.